All right, guys, welcome to Glass Culture Podcast. This must be episode like 124 by now, or maybe episode 13. I didn't check. Maybe I should check before we start the video, but that's fine. We'll just go with it. And today we have some crazy stuff about the kind of elites, kind of hypocrisy towards us, the normal people. Talking about a few kind of crazy environmental issues that are kind of not really our sole responsibility, but seems to be put on us. International Women's Day being another farce again. Not all content creators are your crypto friends, so look out for that as well, because that's a very important thing to kind of get your head around. And yeah, I think that's enough. I think we got a stacked show. What do you reckon, Jay? Should we start it?
Let's do it.
Why do I feel like I'm about to be offended?
Oh shit, here we go again.
All right, guys, so we have had a lot of traction on our channel from the last week because we've actually implemented a bit of a scheme, not a scheme, more like a strategy to kind of bring more shorts, bring more clips and things like that so that people can see those pieces of content and come to our channel. Jay, I think that's been a pretty cool strategy so far. What would you say?
It's been something different. Yeah, you definitely got to try different things and see what works and see what people like and don't like. And yeah.
Exactly. And one of the best ways for us to kind of keep moving forward is through the viewers commenting, liking, sharing and all that good stuff. But, especially with the comments, it's good to see what people's thoughts are. If they're, regurgitated opinions from the right or the left, it doesn't really matter, but they're kind of a few things that we've noticed, which is, been quite a good, last week or so. So, keep it coming with the comments, guys, because it helps us kind of grow. But yeah, let's get straight into the first kind of topic. This is kind of like a bit of a 3-tier topic, I think, the way I've kind of structured it. But for years, we've been told that we're the problem. And what I mean by that is in terms of environmentally, the elite have been essentially telling us that we're the cause of the problems. We've been, they've taken plastic straws away from us. They've taken plastic bags away from us. They replaced those plastic bags with a 15 cent fee for, like a slightly different plastic. And then they've kind of taken that away completely, given us paper bags, but kept the 15-cent charge all under the guise of it being environmentally friendly. It now just looks like they're trying to take money from us. We've been told that we have a problem with, the environment, with our petrol consumption, with recycling, with everything, while the elites kind of sit back and do their own crazy stuff. So would you kind of agree with that sentiment, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the whole paper straw wrapped in plastic thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're trying to fix a problem and then you do something dumber. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
it's all like for nil, really. Like you got to think that like we're like probably like 1% of the world, and oh wow, okay, we're going from plastic to paper. But the rest of the world, it doesn't give a shit. So
exactly. Yeah, it seems like there's these tiny little changes. And how many times have you been to, a fast food chain, or you've gotten a takeaway, like a drink, and they haven't just given you one straw, they've given you 3 or 4 straws because they know that the straws disintegrate and they know people come back wanting more straws.
definitely.
That's not really fixing the problem. That's kind of replacing one problem with another problem. So we have a few things that I want to talk about that I think you're going to enjoy talking about. I did allude to this, I think, yesterday when we were talking about it. First is, obviously our friend Elon, our best friend Elon, is doing the best he can, but still not totally a fully solvable problem. But we're going to talk about the true cost of electric vehicles to start us off. So we're starting off pretty crazy. So like I said, we've been told that electric vehicles are better for the environment, by people who really don't know what's happening for the commoner, the regular man, the person who can't spend, like exorbitant amounts of money on these awesome electric vehicles. We're only told the sexy stuff. We're not really told much else. Like when I was in sales, I was kind of taught to emphasize the positives and downplay the negatives. And that's exactly what the establishment, the puppet masters are doing with us, with all of this stuff they're doing. So I wanted to look at electric vehicles because they're probably the main driver for this. And I do think they're a positive in the total, but they aren't without their, their shortcomings. All these celebrities are driving Cybertrucks. Have you seen mega celebrities driving Cybertrucks all of a sudden?
Oh yeah, definitely. They are pretty cool.
They look amazing.
I mean, some of the features on them are pretty goddamn like doomsday prepper esque.
Yeah, like all these people are buying them and they're just taking baseball bats to them, they're shooting them, and they're just like, I mean, they're throwing their money away to just try their best to destroy them. But, good on them, really. I would love a Cybertruck. I just don't think it's in my financial budget. And I know you want one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at a couple of key ingredients that make up the electric vehicle soup. We've got cobalt and lithium. So they're two of the biggest kind of products that are required for these batteries to kind of run. So what if I told you that lithium mining has gone up 400% since 2008? I've got some stats on my screen here if it looks like I'm reading. That's basically all coming from South America, which is really rich in that particular mineral. It's actually known as white gold in South America. And I know what you're thinking, like white gold in South America, you'd think that would be like cocaine, but no, it's actually lithium. It's basically the backbone of these batteries. Every single electric vehicle, I might call them EVs, have that. And that basically causes sulfuric acid issues, hydrochloric acid, which is like the stuff that they use to disintegrate bodies in Breaking Bad. That's how chemically sound it is, as well as like a huge mining process, which basically ruins the community's natural water supplies and kind of brings communities to their knees because they have no drinkable water. So that's lithium, which sounds pretty hardcore. So 2012, lithium was pretty much, in batteries, right? And now it's in all of your electric vehicles. So, I know electric vehicles are a positive, but that's kind of one concern. So what do you think of that? Like crazy kind of stat and how much it's being used?
Oh, well, I mean, it's the same with the cobalt. I know a lot of that's in Africa and whatever. And pretty sure China got on that pretty early and started buying up all the mines over in Africa and stuff like that, and getting ahead of the curve with that. So, I mean, they're best positioned to be the manufacturer and the supplier of all that stuff to the Western countries anyway. So, for people that, keep going on about China and trying to get rid of them, well, they're already way ahead of the West in terms of resources and the future kind of stuff there. So, but I mean, it just goes back to the Nike sweatshop, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have all these kids that are mining and getting sick and dying that we don't hear about anyway. But So I mean, someone's got to do it.
I know it sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Terrible, yeah.
I've got some facts on cobalt as well. Cobalt, I can't say it. Basically, cobalt is another backbone, but it's also in your phones, it's in your TVs, your laptops, your iPads. Every electric item that they're kind of making smaller and smaller and smaller, it's requiring more powerful microchips, and cobalt is something they use in those. So essentially, that's a pretty powerful, pretty expensive resource that these companies are trying to get. And like you said, China's probably best suited right now to take advantage of that for all the technology that they churn out for everyone else around the world. It has high temperature alloys, which is also used for aerospace engineering. So like, NASA would be using it, for example. It's also used for petrol refining. I went down a rabbit hole, let's just say that, of research on this. But basically it's kind of mined in the Congo, like you said, Africa, with basically no regulation. Like, in Australia, there's safety procedures and there's someone that, typically is overseeing everything.
One worker and like 20 guys standing around. We all know that. We've seen that on the side of the road.
Yeah, you need 20 people to pull someone out of the rubble if that happens. In the Congo, basically, these kids are working without any like safety procedures or oversights, no safe workwear, no masks. Totally left by themselves, basically. And another situation where the soil is left eroded and communities just don't have clean drinking water because of these chemicals, these minerals. So my question is, the reason I've got these facts is it's probably worth it to these companies, to the overall sustainability But is it worth right now them not having a real fail-safe way of doing it without losing many, many lives? That's the hard thing for us to answer. But what are your thoughts on all this?
Why would they care?
Why would they care? I mean, that makes sense.
They're getting profits. I mean, that's how most businesses run. They couldn't care less about side effects or long-term side effects or dangers that may be present in the future. Or they just care about getting that dollar in their pocket for the most they can, and keeping the price going up, or not trying to make it cheaper and holding some in reserve to keep the asset inflated. So it's all about profits.
That's what it is, really, isn't it? They don't care. So Elon, if you're out there, obviously you watch our videos, clearly. We want you to make a comment and defend yourself and give us a Cybertruck. But yeah, that's the thing. Right now, they haven't got anything to replace it with that's safe. And all these celebrities out there, this is my biggest problem. The celebrities out there are telling you and me that we're the problem. Everything we are doing is the problem. But they are the ones spending up big on these Cybertrucks, buying all these expensive things. They're usually...
Are they actually buying them? Like, come on.
Are they being given them, you reckon?
A lot of the times they're given.
Oh,
I mean, maybe by the odd thing that maybe they might purchase it, but I mean, it's pretty much just free money for them anyway. So
you reckon it goes a bit deeper? You reckon these celebrities actually being given free product just to drive around and
with everything? It's called advertising, free advertising. You know what I mean? You give someone that's got 1 million views on them, like a million eyes, basically. That is going to do way more than just spending, so much on an advertisement ad. That'll only reach so many people in a certain community. When you've got like Twitter, Instagram, all these kind of things, even like TikTok, basically, where you can have an account with so many people, that's going to reach far greater people than just one little ad.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to think about. So, they being given...
They've been doing it for years anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just marketing 101, which is kind of scary to think about. But it's just the hypocrisy that really kind of burns me. It's just unsettling, While I'm here drinking from a disintegrated plastic or paper straw, which is the littlest problem, like the most first world problem ever. People are...
You know what? If it just worked and did its job,
yeah,
no one would care. But when you have a product that's doing the right thing and it works fine, and then you go change it, and then the thing it's changed for is far worse, that's very frustrating. It's like saying, hey, we've had HD TVs for so long, and it's like, hey, I've just made a new environmentally friendly TV for everyone, etc., and all of a sudden you go back to the old, dot screens, black and white, even, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm forcing everyone to watch now, because I'm a puppet master of something that gets to control people.
Because the carbon emissions are so much lower.
Yeah. So everyone's going back to blurry black and white, and oh my god.
So I guess all I really want to say is
go nuclear. Literally go nuclear power.
Well, I mean,
it's the cheapest, best energy that we have, and for some reason we refuse to do it. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is starting up, building, or even running their nuclear power plants, and it's fine. It's so much energy. I mean, if you incorporate that with some natural ways of having some solar panels, wind farms and stuff, even they say that those wind turbines and stuff like that are actually more bad for the environment over the long term, because when they decombust and break, they've got to throw them away, and they don't, et cetera. Nuclear power by far is the best resource that we can have. It's the best energy, and I don't know why we refuse to entertain the idea.
Well, here's the other thing as well. Like, if you look at it, there has not been very many. Like, I mean, people think nuclear as in like explosions and World War III, but realistically, nuclear power plant concerns, issues, failures have been quite minimal. Obviously there's one big one that everyone knows about, but really there's a few that have been very, very well contained. And
we got Chernobyl and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly. That's probably the best known one. And that was in the 80s. I really feel like if we did make this push, it would be worthwhile. Almost like,
well, I mean, didn't Russia just attack a while? This is going back a while, like a few years ago, maybe even. They attacked. Isn't there like a nuclear power plant in Russia or something like that, or the other way around? Russia attacked something in Ukraine attacked something in Russia. That was a nuclear power plant, and it was on the brink of like going, but they've managed to maintain it. Like they're pretty well industrialized and protected and have safety stopgaps, and it's not something that they just whacked it together and go, oh, here's nuclear power.
This isn't you and me making it in the backyard. This is people who know what they're doing.
I
was going to say hydrogen.
Oh yeah.
Like, what about that? Wasn't there that man that made hydrogen powered car or like a water powered car? And then he gone. Yeah, all the petrol companies needed to keep their petrol. That's crazy to think about. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, that's electric vehicles. I want one. I know it's gonna be good for a lot, but there's still so many things you have to think about when you're looking at electric vehicles. It's still not foolproof in my opinion. But yeah, we're thinking go nuclear. It's not like there's a Homer Simpson running the nuclear power plant, so you don't really have to be worried. This isn't The Simpsons.
I mean, when you look at
if they're hiring, I could go and make that.
When you look at the WEF and they want to do the whole diversity thing and not employ people because of their actual job, like their actual skills.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so you might actually have some homers in there.
You could have 8 people who, unfortunately for them, due to the color of their skin being Caucasian, which is a big issue nowadays, you could have 8 people that are more than qualified, but 2 people that maybe didn't do the training in these Eastern European countries, more than likely.
Look, I have seen women reverse parallel park. Okay? So why would you want women flying a plane? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because strangely enough, women try to reverse in planes. It doesn't work that way when you're flying. But I want to talk about something else. This is crazy. The other week, I saw some men in I believe it was India or Pakistan using recycled plastics to make recycled furniture, and I thought that looks dangerous. It did not look safe whatsoever. There was no safety procedures. And I kind of thought this is another kind of situation where we're told recycling is good. So I'll break it down for you because I had a bit of a research on this and it seems to be quite kind of upsetting the way this is working. So basically what they do is they take, recycled bags, bottles, cans, everything, like all that kind of stuff, and they melt it all down. And then they put it in a machine. So they dry it after they melt it all down using water. So they kind of like cool it all down. They wait till it goes hard. They put it into like a grinding machine, which grinds it up. And then they kind of, use these chips to melt them down again into a mold to mold it into your outside patio furniture. So, in Australia, we got an incentive, 10 cents per can or bottle. That's your recycling incentive. So whenever you hear somebody rummaging through your bins on, like a Wednesday morning or something like that, that's probably what they're looking for. They're 10 cents per can. So here's the thing though. This creates something called microplastics. Have you heard about microplastics?
The ones that they put in your food?
Yes, pretty much. Exactly. Because microplastics, because of these kind of processes, microplastics, which are about half the size of a red blood cell, you get released into the atmosphere and into the water. There's actually been traces of microplastics in Antarctica, which is pretty remote. But microplastics are now getting into everyone's systems. The air you breathe, the food you eat, the water you drink, it's kind of everywhere.
And the effects of the testosterone on young men, as opposed to like 20, 30, 40 years ago, like it keeps getting worse. It's like we're like a third of like, what our father's father had for testosterone. So, I mean, I guess it's a way to keep the men docile and not as strong, and they're defiant and more in line, I guess. But there is a lot of negatives as well that comes along with that. Not just those little negatives. There's actually a lot of terrible stuff that it does as well.
I mean, less testosterone kind of means you can produce more estrogen. I'm pretty sure that it cancels itself out with estrogen. But you in a man, for example, they'll put on weight easier. You docile, subservient men.
It's like them putting soy in everything as well.
Exactly. That's why the term soy boy originated from. I don't know, that might not be true.
I'm going to run with that. I like that.
We'll have a soy boy comment down below. I freaking know it right now. But basically, these microplastics getting into your food, these are the things that are causing cancer. These are causing a whole bunch of health issues around the world. And it's just another example of you being told you're doing the wrong thing. Here's a paper straw, paper bag, but this one little plastic item you can't have. While there's just plastic everywhere else. Zupa Dupas are made with a plastic, little bag, but your plastic straw is the problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a legal limit in your food that they're allowed to have.
Yeah.
So every food company, they're allowed to have a legal amount of plastics in your food that you're actually ingesting, not just what it's made of, actually that you're ingesting in the food.
There's a legal amount of rat crap you're allowed to eat in your food as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Coffee grinds. I think I've said this to you before. I refuse to have instant coffee because I know that cockroaches actually climb into where they have the beans in storage, and they actually get crushed up with the beans, and your coffee ground instant coffee mix has actually got little bits of cockroach in it. So I just refuse to eat
there you go. To the WEF that's trying to make everyone eat bugs. We're already eating bugs, so just leave us alone.
Yeah, we're doing our part. We're doing our part. But yeah, so I watched that video on TikTok, and it made me want to research something, and I was kind of horrified to find out these microplastics are doing what you just said. They're really causing people a lot of grief around the world. So yeah, pretty crazy. And my last little upper echelon people kind of looking down on us and telling us we're the problem is fast fashion, which I think you may have seen PDB Valuetainment podcast talk about fast fashion. Did you see that one, Patrick, talk about that at all?
I reckon I did. I don't think it really sunk in because it was kind of something that I was uninterested in. But I did peruse around it a while ago, because this is a while ago, isn't it? It's at least a couple of weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago, yes. Yeah, it just resonated with me. And that's what sent me down this kind of rabbit hole, looking at other things, essentially. I'll give you a bit of a breakdown of some of these little stats. Nothing crazy.
Well, before you get into your stats,
yeah.
Did you hear about the tax that they want to do on clothing?
Fuck. Another tax?
Yes, they want to implement a tax on clothing. So
above and beyond the GST?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be applied to just all brands, or so I think it might be the consumers who pay this tax, not the actual companies as well. Because I would have thought, if it's luxury brands paying the tax, well, whatever. But I think it's
they've got the money to spare. Because I hope they're not paying per color. Because if I'm getting a rainbow colored T-shirt for my kids, I don't want to be paying per color. That's a lot of extra tax. I'm kind of like a two color per shirt person here.
Oh, look, just get it from was it Temu or whatever, like a couple bucks,
Well, yeah. Well, that is another thing.
$50 for a T-shirt or $100 for a T-shirt. God damn.
Yeah. This shirt I'm wearing, this. I'm not afraid to say this is an $8 T-shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Thrifty. That's what I do.
But the big people don't like you because they want you to spend your money, not save your money. So you buying cheap clothing is not good. So that's why they're probably going to put another tax on it.
That's why the government are cracking down on us, on me specifically, in my cheap clothes.
Yeah.
I'm wearing like a
Sorry,
$60.
Go back to where you were.
Yeah. So basically, again, while we're told we're the problem, small plastics are the problem, basically everything that like Joe Everyman does is the root cause of the entire world's problems. All the while, Taylor Swift recently sent her private jet to pick up Travis Kelce and fly him back to Australia while she's on tour. And then she also took her private jet a distance that would have been 20 minutes in a car. So while we've got these people doing stuff like this, we've got something that's referred to as fast fashion, which is essentially the process of, I think Americans were the basis of this study, but you can safely assume that the Western world follows this trend. But basically, buying clothes, not wearing them more than once, kind of wearing them and then throwing them out, not recycling them, not giving them to like the salvos or, whatever your donation area is, kind of just wearing them, throwing them out. That's what we're seeing, or that's what they are seeing a lot of people doing. And yes, you've got Zendaya wearing, I don't know, like 2 plastic cups on her chest, 2 plastic cups on her butt, and then like a weird kind of black spandex outfit. She's wearing that once. Like, she's not wearing that again, unless there's kind of bedroom kink that I'm not aware of, but she's not wearing that again. But Americans threw out 11 trillion tons of textile waste. And that's fabric and clothes, obviously. By 2030, the global fashion emissions will increase by 50%, and 100 billion tons of textiles produced each year. 92 million tons of that is waste. So off cuts, water waste, to make denim, you need a lot of water. So in the last 15 years, 35% of people are less likely to wear the same outfit multiple times. And also the fashion industry, most damning of all, is responsible for 20% of the global wastewater.
I'd also like to know what the percentage is of these big companies that instead of, lowering the price, let's say that, they have a summer range, right? They put it at a certain price. It does pretty well, but they still have some leftover. Instead of putting it on discount, they will just literally just bin that. Instead of donating whatever, they just literally bin it. What do you know what the percentage of that is, or does that not?
It didn't break that. It didn't break that down. They probably put that in the. They probably put that in the textile waste kind of category, I guess.
Okay.
But I know you're right about that. I've seen videos of people who go dumpster diving and they find that shops have just chucked out boxes of clothes. Like the boxes are still sealed. Obviously, this arrived and they weren't allowed to sell it or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Well, I know TK Maxx.
Yeah.
There was a brand of some kind of shoe or whatever, and it was originally like $1,200. Then it was $1,000. Then it was $800. I think they dropped it to like $500. And then that person was like, "Oh, like wow, that's a pretty good discount." Went to go back and get them, and they had literally chucked them in the bin. And she's like, "Oh, can I have them?" And she's like, "Well, no, but you can buy them for $500." And she's like, "Well, you were binning them anyway." But yeah, so I think they just left it or whatever. But yeah, you can. And apparently, if the staff is caught taking them out of the bins, they're instant dismissal. So you can't, go ravaging yourself or anything like that. But yeah,
that's really ridiculous. I also have one other thing to tell you on this topic before we kind of dissect it. Do you know how much water it takes to produce 1 kilogram of cotton? 20,000 liters.
Jeez, what's that equate to? Like a swimming pool?
I don't know. I would say probably a swimming pool. Probably more than a swimming pool, really. But here's the thing: like, where is the extra taxes that this industry are getting? They seem to be very protected. The fashion industry seems to be one of the most protected, industries in the world, because not only that, but you have Chinese sweatshops, you have Indian sweatshops, Pakistani sweatshops, all these third world countries where kids are basically being just brutalized daily to make you your Nike shoes, to make you your New Era cap, for example, whatever it is. So it goes a bit more in depth than just like polluting water, throwing out clothes. There's human lives at stake for this as well. But where are these taxes and where is the protection for anyone? It just seems like it's such a one-sided street. Yeah, man. What do you reckon? Sounds crazy.
The small guy, the little guy will always flip the bill.
Yep. I mean, not only that, you've got Shopify stores where people are basically going and uploading their own designs, getting a shirt sent to somebody. They're getting charged extra just for doing that. These companies are paying a lot less for them. So, yeah, it's crazy to think of. But that's a few things that I had to say about basically how we've just been lied to about pollution and how our pollution has been affecting things when these people who are influential seem to be the ones that are kind of affecting us. I don't have any more examples of that, really. But yeah, it's crazy and it gives you something to think about. So definitely do some research on almost any industry. It's worth at least kind of Google fact checking as much as you can trust Google. Don't use Gemini AI to find out some of this, for yourself, essentially. And another crazy thing, and I've talked to you about this over the last week, and I wanted to bring it up now, but perishables going off faster, your fruits, your veggies. Now I know I said it to you, and I have 3 kids, so I'm buying more fruit and veg for them. You probably don't need to buy as much fruit and veg and those kind of things, but have you kind of noticed anything with your perishable items?
Yeah, I have bananas every morning.
Yep.
And they've been going off a lot quicker. Like a couple of days, and they were green, and now they're just brown spotted. Get all mushy and stuff like that. They definitely don't last like they used to.
Yeah.
I know you were going to say your strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
That can also be. I know someone in the comment section will say it's because they're not in season. So that can be a thing that they're frozen. And obviously through the non-season they have the frozen ones, so they will obviously age a bit quicker. But I would say in general though, things don't seem like they're lasting as long, for sure.
Exactly. And now I Googled it. I had a look at Reddit. Because I didn't want to seem like a crazy person that has this conspiracy theory, but I looked at Reddit and multiple people seem to be confirming the same kind of thing, which is, bread, milk, fruit, veggies, every perishable item seems to be spoiling faster. Most people like me kind of put meat in the freezer and get it out the night before, let it thaw before they use it. So meat, I haven't really seen people talk about too much because it's kind of like a freezerable item in most cases.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically I've noticed fruit and veg going, funky 3 days before its expiry date, milk going clumpy before its expiry date, which is crazy. This is only something I've started noticing about in the last year and a half. I've really been paying attention. So I'm going to be reaching out to a company called Fridge Friend, because they have this little ethylene absorber that you can put in the fridge, and that's meant to absorb some of the kind of natural kind of stuff that happens in the fridge, I guess. I don't really know, to help food last longer. So I'm going to reach out to them, see if I can get one as a sample, maybe see if we can work with them at some point. So that'll be.
How does that work? So what's it supposed to take out? So obviously in the air, is it, or the moisture?
Yeah. So it removes moisture and something called ethylene, which is one of the kind of chemicals that kind of just naturally emits around fruit and veg. It's designed to kind of draw that out. And it's kind of like a one purchase item that you just put in the fridge and you don't have to buy replacements. It just stays in the fridge, I guess. So in terms of just like buying one item and keeping it forever, seems like a pretty good idea.
I'd be interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm quite keen myself. But the fact that somebody has seen this problem and gone and created a product because of that, because they've seen the problem themselves, tells me that it is a real concern that people are really facing. So let me know in the comments if you guys have the same problem or if I'm just crazy, because I can't tell. I can't tell. We're like 6 punnets of strawberries a week, people, because our kids eat that many strawberries. So for me to notice really tells you something. So we're going to try that. We're going to contact them, see if we can get a code that we can give anyone out there that's interested. But yeah, next thing I have, this is interesting. Now, have you been following International Women's Day?
I mean, I saw it on the basketball this morning.
I follow it in my own personal way. There's a website which is largely orange and black. I like to celebrate International Women's Day my own way, in solitude by myself. But
What
Lady
did you do for Cena?
Gaga, huh?
What did you do for Cena?
Nothing.
Oh.
It's all about me on International Women's Day. I thought that was the whole purpose. But International Women's Day.
Do we actually have an International Men's Day?
If we do, it's certainly nothing that is
So
advertised.
I guarantee you someone will be like, you have a day every day. It's Men's Day every day. They've been running this world, blah, 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 blah.
You know what? They'll be like, it's International White Men's Day. That's what they'll say.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I love being a privileged white male.
But Lady Gaga has recently come under fire. I'll see if I can get this up for doing a photo shoot.
She was with that Dylan Mulvaney, wasn't she?
That's right. They did for International Women's Day. They did
skip that, yeah.
Exactly. I'll see if I can present this because I find it hilarious.
I rolled and just kept on scrolling when I saw that.
I'll bring it up, guys, so you guys can see this. For those of you who aren't aware, Dylan Mulvaney is a American influencer.
He's a dude.
He's a dude, exactly. He is a dude, and he has gone on to ruin Bud Light and Nike and several other companies with his mere presence.
Oh, just a heads up for him. If he wants to jump over to Doritos, I heard Doritos are now getting those kind of people to promote and do their ads. So there might be a spot over there for you there, mate.
Exactly. Well, yeah, they had that Spanish influencer who's a real nutcase. I'll see if I can share this real quick. All right, there we go. You can see right there. Can't believe I full screened that.
I promise you, if you put your mind to it and you work hard,
they're going to kiss.
You do not listen to the
I don't know. I don't know if that's his strategy.
Anything that life throws your way.
All right, there we go. I'm just going to quickly close this before I vomit. That was literally for International Women's Day. The post said, "Happy International Women's Day." Here's my thing. This kind of like, the best women out there are really men kind of thing is a bit scary to think about.
There's so many women that are empowering that should be forefront of something like this, that do better. So much for the movement, that do so much for the community, and you go put a dude. Like, come on. Like, surely it has to be to spark a problem and bring more eyes to it. It has to be. I mean, when you do this, it makes people go, hey, that's not right. And there's more eyes on there and more people are disputing it and stuff like that. And it draws more attention. That's the only thing it can be, because if it wasn't, I mean, International Women's Day kind of would have just skimmed them by. No offense. But do you know what I mean? They would have done that, blah, blah, blah. And no one would have said boo. People would have been, okay, cool. But you go do something like this and put a dude in there or whatever, and all of a sudden it causes a ruckus. It causes debate. It causes divide. And then all of a sudden you have more eyes on that sector. So, I mean,
it's in the news, people talking about it. Even we're talking about it. There was some good. There was some good this last week. There are two good things that happened this last week. Leah Thomas, or William Thomas, the American college swimmer, a dude who would walk around the female change rooms naked, would sleep with female swimmers, and then also go on to absolutely obliterate world records with his swimming ability. He has been banned from competing. So that's a positive for real women out there. And also, Haley Davidson, I don't know the real name. Haley Davidson, a man switched to a woman, was ranked something like 400 in the world in golf, and transitioned, and all of a sudden wins tournaments, has been banned from the Women's Pro Tour.
Good. About goddamn time people come to their senses.
Exactly. We're not here to say that all trans people are bad, but
No.
we are not blind. We know
But
that
if you
transitioning
want-
will give an advantage.
It's simple. You have male, you have female, right? If you would like to compete still at an event, right? And
Mhm.
you don't want to compete with dudes anymore because you feel like you're a woman, right? Then you need to activate and to petition for another league, like an
Yeah.
open league, like a transgender league, just an open league where it doesn't matter. Something totally different. Leave the men alone, leave the women alone, and create another league. I'm fine with that. But you go mixing and matching, just enough.
You know what's craziest about that? And this I'm going to say something that I believe to be 100% factual. If there was a trans league where you've got, men to women, women to men, whatever, the craziest thing about that is I
You would
think
still have divide.
the
Yeah.
people who are born men would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the people who are born women would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's
I
not
know.
me saying the women are bad. It's just
No.
they have completely different power levels, skill levels, muscle fiber levels. Everything's different, which is why there is female leagues, because we want them to be able to succeed, but we just know there is a massive fundamental difference, which is why men traditionally were hunters and women were, the people that were at home, the people who
And look,
kept
I
home.
can recognize and say, look, women have it a lot tougher as well, right? So they're not physically as strong and gifted in those areas, so it would be harder for them.
Mhm.
They don't have as much testosterone, so it's harder for them to build the adequate muscle, speed, strength,
Yep.
right? And also, they've got to go through pregnancy as well. So if they want to have a baby, right, all of a sudden you've got at least, I would say like a 2-year window where she's got to have the baby, like get pregnant, right, carry the baby, have the baby, then recover from all the the surgery or the natural stuff, and then get back to where she was. So I'd say that's at least 2 years that you're behind the eight ball of your peak, where you were peak. So when you've got that competing as well, it's harder for them. It is.
Yeah, and which is why you need to kind of have the two leagues, because people like to at least celebrate the things that women do very, very well, which is why certain female sports can sometimes be more compelling. Women's tennis is probably more compelling than the men's tennis for me. I not because of the visual or audio spectacle of it, but because they compete just as hard as the men. You can watch it and you can be entertained. Women's football, not so much. Women's basketball, not so much. But the women that should be going to support the women leagues aren't supporting the women's leagues. But look at this: women's tennis, men and women flock to women's tennis. So there are these massive differences that people just need to recognize, in my opinion. So International Women's Day, a farce yet again, but two good things are coming out of it. And I think people are starting to, the woke crowd are starting to awaken to the reality. International Women's Day is a farce again. Now, this is up your alley. Would you say a year ago we had Crypto Serpent on to talk to us about, crypto related news? He's a more of an XRP specialist. And with crypto pumping, I'll let you take the lead here, but you've got a bit of an idea what's happening in the crypto space more than me. But what would you say is happening right now for people who are into crypto?
I mean, it is funny that there is more eyes coming back on the space now, as the price of Bitcoin is basically slowly surpassing its all-time high. People are like, oh, like, what's this now? I mean, no one
just checking the cap now.
It's funny thing. It's the only thing where when it goes on a discount, people get scared and don't want to buy. And then when the price is so expensive, people just want to FOMO in and don't want to miss out, which is hilarious. I mean, like, if you have like any kind of FOMO, and which is like fear of missing out, just if you hear me say FOMO, I know there might be some people. but just study it. Just study it for a couple of years. Don't go chucking your money around, investing in this and that, and don't listen to people on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, half of those people are absolute noobs, man. Like, they are brokies that are just trying to sell you their bags, and literally the things that they're promoting have no real world value at all.
It's troubling. Yeah.
If you know what, if you like a casino and the pokies, and you just want to chuck a few $100s on something that someone says, "Oh, this is really great," and they sound really smart, and they give you all this information, all right, cool. But just be prepared that it might go to zero. Like, you probably more often than not lose your money because it is not a good, fundamentally real world asset that is actually building something that will be used.
Yeah, and I agree with that completely. And I've fallen trap as well. I've had people, I've kind of gone down a bit of a rabbit hole of researching, and I think I'm researching, but really I'm watching YouTube videos, which isn't really researching. It's having somebody tell me what they want me to buy.
Yep.
And you walk away thinking, wow, that sounds really good. Because again, like I said earlier on in this video, as a salesperson, you're selling the positives, you're not selling the negatives. Which
Exactly. So when you hear someone talk positive about something, right, that's fine. Listen to them, absorb it, take the notes on what they've said, right, and then go flip that and watch a video on people that hate on it, right, and hear what that side is saying about that particular coin, asset, whatever. And then what you can do is then go back, do some more research on the actual fundamental thing itself, and then make your decision.
Yeah, well, it becomes all like I've got, parents asking me, and I'm like, I really have no clue. I think we've had this conversation about 8 times in the past, probably 3 weeks. And yeah, you told me the other day, what are you doing? Don't tell somebody that crypto is good. What happens if it goes bad? Then I look like the idiot. And I'm like, well, crap, I didn't actually think of that because I wanted the best for that person. And you even, because I actually don't know. And this is for people at home. I am being legit when I say I have almost no idea what Jay invests in with crypto. And that's because he knows that if I think it's a smart idea, he doesn't know if I'm just going to go throw all my money at it, because he's prepared to lose it all, whereas I'm kind of trusting his word kind of thing. That's how you have to look at, a YouTuber that you don't even know.
Exactly. It's not a secretive thing. It's not like, like you want the best for someone, but you also you want to also protect that person as well. So it's like, you need them. You can like give them ideas of how to get to water, but you don't want to make them drink it. Basically, you want to let them figure that bit out themselves, for sure.
Exactly. And it's you kind of like think like, oh man, really? But then if you know somebody and they actually tell you the reason why, then you've got a bit of an idea.
Like literally, I can give you the best advice on like the dumb shit that you do. Like literally, when you're like, oh, look at this, I've got like 1 million billion coins of this, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
And you do that.
Unless it's like a pump and dump and you're willing to like cash out at a certain point and a certain thing, it's not something that you want to buy and hold. And it's not going to make you a millionaire in the long run. Like, it's not going to go from 0.000001 to 1 cent even, or $1. Like, people
I do get caught up in that.
Oh,
yeah, I guess that's another piece of
frustrating thing, and the amount of coins as well is such a frustrating thing. Like the simple thing of people going, "Oh, I've got like 1 million of these coins or 10,000 of these coins," versus just buying one of a legitimate blue chip coin will do you so much better than those 10,000 or million billion coins. Like it's about fundamentally good stuff. Like, yes, it's a casino on those other things, and you can be like winning the lotto, like the odds are even worse than that. But you can be one of those people that turn like $100 into like $1 million. But the odds of you doing that and timing it and being on your laptop, phone, or computer and watching that chart at the exact right time is almost nil.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do get caught up with like you'll say, oh, how was crypto X doing or whatever it might be, and I'll say, oh, I've got 20 million of those, and you'd be like, that doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is one thing for people to get caught up, to kind of not get caught up with actually researching in that sense. I guess you make a lot of a good point there. Watch the YouTube videos that are for and against something, because you'll probably miss something somewhere, and then like you said, actually research.
And the people that you watch as well, like if they're supported by a big influencer like community, like that will also let you know if they're actually good or not. Like, I mean, just because you see someone in their comment section have 1 million followers and 10,000 comments on how good he is and how he made me money in this. I mean, with AI these days, you got to understand that half of those comments, if not 99%, are fake. Like those viewers, those followers that he's got, they're probably fake. Okay, so you have to have someone like there's people out there, there's influencers that might even have like 200 followers, 300 followers, 1,000 followers, right? And they are way more knowledgeable and way more invested in the space and have way more connections than you actually think. Okay, those are the people that you need to keep an eye on and see what they're saying and see who they're connected to understand that, oh, this is actually this X person here has like 200 people, but those 200 people that are following him back, they're all like big people. Like why are they connect talking to this bloke who's got no followers? Like obviously he is the dude. Like he is someone that's actually really good.
This isn't like Logan Paul being in bed with, what was he? I think he was in bed with Lunacoin 3 years ago or whatever. Lunacoin pumped up and then it just all crashed down. He doesn't care. He got his money from selling it. Yeah. It's like Logan Paul. He had his own little fake ass crypto Pokemon thing. It all crashed. It all tumbled. So yeah, don't trust every crypto influencer in the space. They all will be trying to sell you a get rich quick scheme, but they're the only ones that are getting rich in this whole process.
It fires me up. It really does. It really does annoy me. It really does. Just itch me the wrong way when I see people like that, and I see what they're doing, and it's so frustrating. But I mean, I guess people have got to learn for themselves. I don't know, if people are dumb enough, blind enough, stupid enough, accidentally listen to someone like this, and they've got to learn from it, I guess. But just please, do your own research.
Actually research.
People say it all the time. Do your own research. Being in charge of your own assets. Don't just leave them on an exchange and stuff like that. Like, it's annoying. It's such a stupid thing that people say in the space, and it's, but it's just at the end of the day, it's so true at the same time. Like it's annoying to hear. I hate hearing that side of thing anyway. Like it's like annoying. That do your own research, or take care of your own wallet. But like it's so true to have that accountability that you're in charge, that you're the one that can make a judgment. Like you can look at what someone says. Like I can't read charts, but I can watch a lot of people that can read charts, and then I can make an assessment on when they're talking bad about a chart and talking about bull flags and cup and handles, and like I understand when I see those things now that what they're talking about. But
you can actually read them better than the chart, I guess.
I mean, don't trade, don't use leverage, don't use trade, and buy like legit stuff, like blue chip stuff, like literally. The top two are like, they've been in the space for the longest. They are like the legitimate things. Then you can go maybe into like the top 20. I mean, there's still a handful of things in there like Doge and XRP, and probably Shiba's probably in there and stuff like that. That you don't want to. You got to understand that they're meme coins.
There's still
Like,
huge risk.
Yeah, like they're just like joke coins basically. And then you have some protocols in there and oracles and stuff like that. That yes, they are like more blue chip. They're like the next wave of becoming very, very used throughout the space and can, probably give you the best return for your dollar value, but also like the safest kind of next safest thing. So.
Well, I mean, that's good advice, and we're going to segment all these anyway. So if people want more of a crypto kind of discussion, this will have its own segment as well. So we kind of segment everything, because it's all a bit different. But the crypto thing is very important for a lot of people because people are going to fall into that trap. Grandparents are going to lose
if people
money.
want more on the crypto stuff, they're more than welcome to like comment on stuff like that. We can even maybe like possibly do a little like side channels, maybe weekly update, or maybe even like I was even thinking maybe we could do like a little portfolio where we both put like $25 a week and into a little portfolio together, like a little Glass Culture podcast, little portfolio,
a slush fund.
Like, and we'll build that up and try and reach maybe I don't know, 10 grand or 100 grand within the bull run, which is like
this is us playing with our money. This isn't us telling you to do anything.
No, don't follow. But like,
and this is us playing with low amounts of money as well. This isn't us throwing
showing
thousands
you
of
that
dollars.
You don't have to literally just chuck a whole bunch of money in on one thing or whatever, and just slowly every week, just chip away and just whatever you can afford, just weekly, just make some educated guesses.
All right, I think that sounds like a good plan. I reckon. I like it.
Well,
now we've got breaking. Yeah, we have to discuss it. We have breaking news right now. Do you remember Cat Williams went on the Shannon Sharp podcast?
Yes, I do like Cat Williams. Yes,
Cat Williams. Yes, he very, very eloquent, and very fast. And he said so much without saying everything. He said so much that made people's eyes open. He was talking about humiliation rituals, especially in Hollywood. Men being made to dress up as in women's clothing and things like that, just to kind of like humiliate them essentially. And now we have right now today, this is breaking. I'm gonna have to segment this and put this up on our YouTube as quickly as humanly possible. But we have John Cena,
butt ass naked.
Butt ass naked. I'm gonna see if I can just quickly share the screen here. If I can.
He used to be cool, man. Like, what an absolute joke. Like,
Here he is. Here he is. I've got the volume turned down a little bit.
Like, it's not funny. It is not funny. Like, dude,
he even looks
money, you've got fame, and you're going to do this at like an event like this. You know why? It's because this is the Oscars, yeah? This is the
Oscars, yeah. Happened just now.
No one gives a shit about the Oscars anymore. No one cares. No one watches these things. So then again, it goes back to that further thing I'm saying. They're literally trying to cause commotion to get an uprising of, oh, that's disgusting, blah, 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 and get more eyes on it so that it gets more attention. It has to be. Like, that's what this is. Because what kind of sane man would walk out there butt naked?
Yeah. He's we'll remove that from our eyes. Basically,
it's not funny, man. Like, how he would do that and participate in that. I mean, it just shows you what kind of person he is.
He's drinking the Kool-Aid.
He's willing to do that for basically attention, fame, and money.
Attention, fame, and also right now he's basically one of the top trending things on all of Twitter. So I think there's a very big reason why he's done that. the exposure. You know, like I've said it for a few months now internally. And I
Exposure.
also made
The only thing that you're exposing is that you're a creep.
yeah,
You're an
that
absolute
that
creep.
you're naked on
That's
stage.
possibly into further creepish things, and that you know what? Let someone expose you. Let someone go through your shit and find out why you're doing this kind of stuff. What have you done that they've got on you that you're doing this kind of stuff? That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the creepy thing. We've had people say like he's basically like half dressed when he's wrestling, but really he's still got like jean shorts on, right? If he's wrestling,
Yep.
he's still
Yep.
pretty well dressed. This is him basically completely stark naked. He's got the exposure. I've said it for a few months. I made a video on my TikTok channel saying like, when are we basically going to accept that John Cena, he isn't a thing? He's not a very good actor. He's going down the route of, you know, big muscly guy doing stupid movies with kids. And this is him obviously really pushing
Stuff, yeah.
to get that. Yeah, he's going through the whole, you know, like, you know, Vin Diesel did it. You know, the Rock did it. Dave Bautista did it. You know, these big muscular actors. You know, the only one who did it successfully was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arnold Schwarzenegger did Kindergarten Cop in the 90s, and that was probably the only truly successful muscly bravado actor playing in a movie with kids.
Has Arnie ever dressed up as a girl though?
No, but you know what? If Arnold Schwarzenegger dressed up as a girl, I think it would have been so early on in the piece that people wouldn't have even like put it together. He was in that one movie where he was like impregnated with like an embryo, but that was funny. That doesn't count as trans. That was funny, damn it.
Don't say that because they can get pregnant.
Oh,
a man can get pregnant.
That's ridiculous. A biological woman turned to a man, impregnated by a biological man turned to a woman, and all of a sudden they're claiming that it's a pregnant man. I love how they're so blind.
Cena, come on, mate.
Oh, ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Leftist. You leftist.
But I did want to kind of, you know, get to a bit of a softer point of the podcast. Because, you know, trending, a bit of fun. I don't know what the hell. I mean, the Oscars aren't even relevant. Like they may be relevant for an hour or two, and then they're gone. But yeah. So that's pretty much that's the ticket of our podcast today. We've talked about a lot of stuff. Now, Jay, you've got some awesome things you want to bring to us for our next episode. Do you want to hype anyone else up? I'm hyped.
Yeah, I mean, like scholars say pedophilia is now sexual orientation that should be accepted by members of society.
That's ridiculous. So that's do you want to talk about that now? Or we're preparing ourselves for the next episode. We're bringing people.
We'll prepare.
Yeah, that's
gotta be explosive.
It's like you say it, and it makes me confused to the point where my head doesn't know how to think.
Yeah,
because I'm like,
I just saw it was like breaking news now as I'm like flicking through, and I was like, oh god, what are they? And it's like some person that's giving some kind of speech at some seminar, and it's just god, what And then you've got that what else is going on? You got this that white girl. They got bashed and apparently dead, or someone saying now that she's in critical condition.
Like, her head was pounded on the ground. She had this woman who was like twice her weight and size.
So what's your thoughts on that? Like, people are saying that there should be a death penalty for that black girl, blah, blah, blah. Look, like as much as like that black girl had the weight advantage, the size advantage.
They were both squaring up.
The white girl should have ran away. Like, goddamn. I'm like, admit when you're, defeated. But like, you don't know who the instigator was there. So like, there's not enough footage.
We just saw that like 30 seconds.
There's not enough footage for me to go, yes, she's in the wrong. Because I mean, for all that white girl could have been talking some smack. The black girl could have given her lumps. And I mean, accidents in a fight. I mean, accidents can happen. I mean, like, yes, you can look at it as she was violently slamming her head on the ground. But I mean, like, it's street fight. Like, like you don't want to be that person in the reverse. So you're trying to make sure that that person is demobilized, or like at least like understands that it's over. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's one of those like crazy things. But yeah, that's okay. So we got a couple of things on the ticket that we can break down. I've got a good segment we can make from that in a creepy kind of way. I've been trying to find it, but there was an American woman. You may have seen this on Twitter. A beautiful American woman, like one of those like Southern American accents, slammed online by a Persian model. Have you seen this?
no.
You haven't? All right, I'm just going to quickly open the post up, because here's the craziest thing. This woman looks like actually ugly, and she's kind of, really trying to take this other person down. I'll quickly just share my screen here. We're doing a very share screeny kind of day. I've got the video. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, there she is there. All right, I got the volume up.
Good morning, y'all. Quick update on the house, because I've been pretty terrible about giving y'all these. We took a little break for noodling season and to put out boxes. Now that it's dried in, we can do it at our own pace. But good morning, y'all. Quick.
So you heard that?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I was so taken aback by the good morning.
Yeah, yeah. So you heard a voice. Yeah. So a Persian model with millions of followers has turned around and said, this accent needs to be illegal and women should be banned from doing manual labor like this. I mean, all this woman's doing is helping her, I think her dad or her partner build a shed. And she says American women are literally men, which
What's
I find...
wrong with that? Like, she's being laborious, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with a woman actually going out and trying this kind of stuff. But
I mean, do I find that attractive? No.
I mean, here she is again. I've got the volume down, but she's fishing.
Yeah.
Because see, it's between the gills
right here
and the gill plate. Arm goes through. Gills are not.
But you know what? If there's an Armageddon, this is the kind of chick that you'd want by your side.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, you want to survive. Like, this chick could be hunting and gathering and building your bunker and everything. Like,
exactly. I mean, like, here's the thing: you got to look at it this way. Like this woman, this plastic woman who, Samira Khan, her name is. She's basically coming out and saying this woman isn't a real woman. But in an end of world event, Samira Khan, she ain't got nothing but what's between her legs to try to get her through for the remainder of her days. Where this other woman here has some skills, some knowledge. She's been well trained. I'm willing to bet she's probably a pretty good dancer.
And you know what? Should actually also be more intellectual to talk to sit and have a conversation, to joke around with. You know, not just a ditz that's on her phone, or you talk to her and everything just goes shoop straight over her head. She can actually have, basically hold an intelligent conversation for sure.
When people talk about feminists and powerful women, that's the kind of thing that I think people aren't aspiring to do. Actually learning a skill. I'm not talking about like holding a lollipop in the middle of the roads and things like that. That's not what I'm talking about. This is actually like really going out there and doing something that I have never done. That's a pretty big task right there. But let us know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this situation with this woman? Because I think she's just kind of doing her best in her world.
Where's she from? Sounds very like Alabama.
Louisiana, I think it is.
Okay.
Louisiana, yeah. So she's got one of those like those accents that you only hear in the movies. Like you don't talk to someone on, we don't obviously talk to someone with that kind of accent. If we did, we'd probably be like romanticized by it, and you just want to make them talk more and more to hear more. But yes, completely taken to town on social media. But people are basically just supporting this woman because she's not doing anything wrong. She just living her life, and that's all it is. Yeah. But yeah, that's a jam-packed episode. I think we've covered we've covered it all, and we have some things for people to look forward to. So, we're gonna come up with some examples, some street fighting kind of discussions, things like that. So the next episode's good. We actually have some things to follow up on. Comment down below with anything you disagree with, anything you agree with. Jay, did you notice anything interesting on our socials, our YouTube comments from the last week before we sign off?
No. You obviously did.
I did, yeah. Some people who are, what's the word? Some very supportive people, some people with comments that, are like, I wouldn't agree with. That aren't agreeing with us and agreeing with us. And that's kind of the idea, getting debate, because it's not like we're like super pro right, pro left.
No.
We're just pointing things out.
No, everyone can have their opinion.
Exactly. We're smart enough to realize that America will dictate the pace of the world. You can't really do anything about that. So people saying, Trump is an idiot. People are saying Trump is awesome. People are saying, Trump can walk across the stage. He can go upstairs. Things like that. So yeah, keep the comments coming, guys. Helps us an absolute ton. Keep those followers coming, like all the videos, all that stuff. It definitely helps the algorithm push our content out more. And we're obviously going to be trying to bring as much of that as we can over the next week. So definitely look out for more stuff coming as well. Subscriber spotlight this week. We're going to do a subscriber spotlight. Is Bud Grower. He subscribed to us recently and his name just stuck out to me. Bud Grower. So yeah, that's a subscriber spotlight. Going to be giving a little subscriber spotlight, once a week or so. With a name like that, it does stand out. So I had to mention it. Alrighty, Jay. I reckon we've done a big one this week. For those of you who don't know, we kind of were meant to do it the night before and we weren't able to, and it's hot. Yeah, we're just lazy. We're lazy.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sitting here and if you're wondering why I keep like going like this or something like that, it's because I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
Yeah, no, I am sitting in bowl soup myself. So yeah. Thank you for anyone who's come out to watch this. If it's the segments, the clips, watching the full podcast helps us an absolute ton. We're going to be coming at you probably in the next week or two with another episode. We'll see what our schedule's like. And we're going to kind of try to really ride out 2024 as much as we can. Alrighty, Jay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's sign off.